Hello, I am pleased to be joined today by Bokang Kelepa, Managing Director of Bautsema Mining Services. Bokang, delighted to have you here with me today.
Hi, Kunal. Thanks a lot for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Bokang, I thought I'd start this discussion with just asking you about a bit of an overview about what you do at Bautsema, if that's okay.
Yeah. So we are Balitama Mining Services. We offer multiple services, obviously with a major focus on mining. And that includes mining, contract mining, consulting. And I think today we're going to be talking also more on consulting. So it's mining services. So we do mining for underground and open cast mines, and then we also do consulting for both underground and open cast or surface mines. And then we also do mining supplies. That's what we predominantly do. But I think for this interview, like I said, we're going to be focusing more on the consulting space, which looks also on the technology and disruption.
They're very interesting. And since your company has been formed, how would you see the technological landscape changing, especially given the big movements that have happened, like the COVID pandemic and geopolitical movements?
What happened is when in 2019 we founded what we call the 4IRINMINING seminar. If you go to www.4irinmining.com, you'll get to see more on it. And I remember when you founded this, a lot of people thought whatever we were doing, it's a bit far-sighted, and it's not going to happen anytime soon, or we're just living in our own world, or it's something that is happening in the first world more than anything else. But then recently now we just took a visit to a gold mine. Recently, I'm talking about last week, Thursday. We went to a gold mine, and initially because of coal being a very high height. Basically, you've got a height, so a room to play around. Usually, what used to happen is that coal will be advanced in terms of technology, but we were shocked to get to a gold mine that has actually far surpassed the technology that we currently have in the coal space. And so the future that people thought it was very quite far in 2019 when we started doing 4 mining, it's actually quite here, just around the corner here in Western area in Joburg, in Johannesburg. So with that being said, is that we are moving forward. Technology is there, the disruption is there, and it's now. It's not in the future.
You mentioned there briefly 4IR. What would you say are the trends within 4IR that are driving the African mining sector?
So with what happened now with the COVID, where people had to be working from home, but also ensuring that the mines are efficient and optimized, we had no choice, or the mines had no choice, but to adapt or die. They had to be competitive. And with that, we've seen the automation being adopted. And like I said, from a gold mine point of view, look, your iron ore has already had the machines, your dozers that are self-driving, and also your drills and all that, because it's easy. Basically, it's an easy technology to do. I mean, your self-driving drills is quite easy. You just load the coordinates on the machine, and the machine drives itself, and then from there it drills. But then with the gold mining, which is quite deep, you look at it, you would think it will be difficult for you to do it, and you see that the mines have adopted the underground Wi-Fi. As long as you've got network, everything else can be done. So yes, those are some of the trends that we're starting to see now. The mining adapting to the technology in terms of both the software, and that's basically your IoT, and also from the hardware point of view, where you've got driverless machines, automation as well taking place, embracing the the virtual reality and your augmented reality, where you basically can be on surface and you can be underground, but when you're on surface, I mean, the virtual reality was even better than the reality that we have underground, what we're experiencing when we're underground. So those are some of the things that we're starting to see. And I think one of the things that I also found intriguing is how a definition of a miner is going to be changing in the future. I mean, for me, I'm a mining engineer by background, and what one of the things that makes me a certified mining engineer is the fact that I've got a mine manager certificate and I've held a legal responsibility. That legal responsibility, Cornell, it's basically encapsulated around me looking after people's safety. It actually has got nothing to do with production. Everything is around safety, whether it's going to be the operation of bell conveyors or what you call roof bolt, making sure that the ground doesn't fall on people, or anything else, or is it the lamp room procedures? Everything else that had to do with my appointment as a mine manager, as a general manager, as a foreman, it was around safety. But now you see a lot of engineers now being the ones that are running the mine. Your mechanical, your electrical engineers, because what you're doing now, people are being taken away from the face, from the coal face. And what does that entail? It means now it's the machines that are going to be there. The conditions that we were expected to have, which is a certain level of ventilation, your heat shouldn't be exceeding a certain degrees. Your illumination, how much should it be? It doesn't matter anymore. The noise limits, they don't matter anymore when it's only machines that are there. Now, all of a sudden, now what we care about, what is the technology around it, which will be more on engineering and ICT. So I found it to be changing the definition of the, not even just the future miner, but for now, let's call it a future miner because it's not adopted all around. It changes the definition of a future miner.
You mentioned a lot of different things there, from software, hardware to AI, lots of different options. How do you ensure that you're selecting the right options when there's so many of them?
So I like the question that you're asking. So a lot of companies, they will come to us asking for single point solutions. And with that, you really have to have an ability for someone to be running an integrated operation. When you're going to be implementing a technology, you need to consider not only downstream, even upstream. For example, let's say I decide to optimize a truck. That truck, if the excavator itself is not optimized, for you to optimize that one piece of equipment, it doesn't help, you know? So the whole integrated operation, and also not only from a micro point of view, but also from a macro point of view, basically saying that what happens now to that truck operator now that you are saying they can operate 5 trucks at the same time. For example, the mine that you went to, it was quite an amazing one. It's a gold mine. And they were running an LHD, basically a load haul dumper underground. And you know that machine, after you run it 5 times, because it's point A to B, so you load from point A and then you tip at point B. After it has done only 5 trips, it has done what we call machine learning. I mean, that's those are the terms that you are hearing with this 4IR. It's literally machine learning, and that machine says, "Oh, so you are loading from point A, you are tipping at point B. Am I right? Yes. Okay. If I am right, then let me run with this." And the machine starts driving itself, and by that, it allows the operator to go operate 1 more machine, 2 more machines, all the way up to 5 machines. You know. So now, when you are busy implementing this technology, one of the considerations that you need to be taking is that what is it now that you're going to be doing with this extra operator that you have, and taking into consideration your economic situation. I mean, with South Africa now, for example, we've got high unemployment rate. You know, the stats are so funny saying that with South Africa, we've got more unemployed people than the employed. I mean, let that sink in. We've got more unemployed people than the actual employed. That's what South Africa has. So when you're busy implementing this technology, be able to go as far as possible to a point where you are able to take into consideration the economic condition of the country. If you're going to be finding yourself with people that are going to be unemployed and you're cutting the number of jobs available for the mining, that's not going to be good. But on the other side, how I looked at it is that, with this now, you're freeing a lot of people for you to be able to even mine a lot of whatever that you're going to be mining, a lot of ore. And then that's an opportunity for you to even hire more people, because obviously also be generating higher revenue. And then it's also an opportunity for you to reskill the people, because you're going to need the reskill people now with the future of mining on how mining looks. I mean, that mine runs what they call the NEF Center. That NEF Center is being run by the ICT. And then from there, the machines that are being run that are not, the mine is not fully automated. Unlike some of your barrack mines that they talk about that are up in Africa, the mine is not completely automated. But what happens is, with your engineering team, you start needing more of an engineering team. And the positive that I saw is, we need artisans. Our country needs artisans. Artisans is a college education, not a university education. It's a college education. So that still gives us an ability, or an upside in a way, for us to even employ more. So let's start looking into that and start educating our people more on the technology to ensure that they become part of the future.
Again, there you mentioned a lot of really pertinent points. If you look at the stuff that you've done, can you give me a few examples when you've created tech solutions, the role you've played?
Sorry, repeat that again. Where I've created what?
Can you list some examples where you played a role in creating some of these tech solutions?
Text efficiency.
Tech solutions.
Or tech solutions. So, for example, a person will say, please introduce a driverless truck. The one that we're doing basically was on driverless truck. And we did give them the solutions to say, this is what you can basically do. But then we asked them, we are partnered with a company called the Next Gen OPEX. So what we ask of them is to say, guys, allow us to give you guys an integrated operation. An integrated operation, it means that we're going to go into your operation step by step, line by line, tier by tier, to say what is it that is happening, so that everything at the end of the day, it's interconnected. It goes as a flow from the beginning until the end, because each and every machine or anything that you're going to be introducing there is going to be affecting your operation holistically, whether it's going to be in a minor way or in a major way, but it does eventually affect your operation. So that's what we did. And the most important thing that we noticed with this is you can't just be implementing the technology without taking people with. So a lot of us as leaders, sometimes we fail to take people with. I mean, if people buy into what you are saying and into what you are doing, the less the problems that you're going to be having, because at the end of the day, we really need to ensure that this technology comes with the multi-stakeholder benefit, not just you as an employer. I mean, when you talk ECG, when you talk the triple P, you need to have the triple bottom line in order, and which is going to be your planet, your people, and also before your profits. Before your profits, it's very important that you do that. And the moment you take your people with, I'm telling you, a lot of those things they fall into place. So at least with that, we are in the currently we're tweaking with them in terms of being able to do the whole integrated operation, and we really hope it succeeds.
That's really interesting, and I think a really good question to round off this interview is, if we look to the future, what technologies do you think will drive the future in mining?
So in terms of the technologies, talking about the technologies that are going to be affecting the future of mining.
Yeah, what do you see as the main ones?
So automation will really go a long way. South Africa is not a what you call a sunset industry when it comes to mining. You still have a lot of minerals that are just not easily accessible. But the moment you've got automation, where you're going to be having your people be taken away from the coal phase or from whichever mineral phase, you're going to be able to access a lot of deep-seated minerals, or those ones that we consider rather unsafe to do. I mean, you won't have to consider seismic events, you won't have to consider heat, you also won't have to. So with that, automatically, it makes it even much, much cheaper to even mine. Just what I ask that we do is that each and every decision that you're going to be making, let's make sure that we take a multi-stakeholder approach where we make sure that we take everyone with. I think, Cornell, for me, that's the most important thing to say. Ensure that you take everyone with. No one should be left behind.
Yeah, that's a fascinating point to end it on. I think I really have to. So I'd just like to say, Bokang, thank you for taking the time for this interview. It's been fascinating.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks a lot, Colin, and thanks a lot for your time, mate.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. I look forward to continuing the conversation at Mining Indaba in February 2024.
Thank you.